This is it right here. This is the loophole. This is the biggest thing that we're talking about. Like, honestly, you're gonna love this.
I want to hear it. I'm objective. You're critical.
Anico at the disco.
He's positive. Join the Mixtape 615.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday.
It is the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville.
Forever. Testing. 1 to the 2 to the 2 to the 3 to the 3 to the keep going, baby. It's the Mixtape 615, and yo, this is the place to be. If you are a Nashville Soccer Club fan, yo, we talking to you. We're really just talking to you right now. If you love Nashville and you love all of its soccer ways, the way that Nashville soccer is, we just love it. You know what I mean? Or you know what? You don't even know much about that, and you're just trying to learn more. We want you. We want you right now. We want you in the mix. Everybody. We want everybody in the mix. Lock in, baby. It's your boy, Tunji. A.K. Hey, Young Turtle, D Soccer Face, SF Doom, the big kahuna munching on a little tuna sandwich, steam papi. Yamame, steam papi B. Yo, check it out. I be too lit sometimes. You know, I be on Southside Kitchen, the pub, you know what I mean? It'd be half off whiskeys and I just got a paycheck. So I'll be too lit on a Wednesday night. Also known as the man sipping on Mai Tais on beaches in Belize, feeling cool like a summer breeze. Yo, AKA the only dude you know who takes his Jordan 1s to the cleaner. You know what I mean? Because they just got to be crisp. They got to be fresh. They got to be nice. I'm also known as the Golden Boy with the Golden Voice. And when I'm in Chicago, they call me Chicago Mike, baby. Chicago Mike, eating conies with no ketchup on them, only mustard and relish, because this is the Mixtape 615 podcast, and we're going to bring it to you today. Check it out. Logan, tell them who you are one time.
All right. Well, this is Logan. This is Beer Main, a.k.a. Mr. Roboto, a.k.a. Coach Carson, to all my basketball boys. Y'all know who it is. We are excited to have you guys here. Austin, I'm going to send it over to you. Tell us who you are.
All right, what's up? My name is Austin, a.k.a. Wild Main.
Wow, mate.
A.k.a. Ginger Snap.
Yes.
A.k.a. the Fumbling Dublin. You know who it is. A.k.a. Red Beard. Last but not least, a.k.a. Chicky Pom Pom.
Chicky Pom Pom.
All right, Logan, take us in.
Absolutely, everybody. We are excited to have you guys here. We want you guys to join us in the mix. You can go to mixtape615.com. Jump in with us. We are ready to turn up this year. We are ready to go even further than we were last year because you know we run this pitch.
We run it.
You guys in with us. So jump in there. Follow us on all of our socials at Mixtape615. And we definitely want to jump into this week because there's a lot of for us to talk about. Everything has happened in this week in soccer. We've had a huge amount of things happen from Christian Pulisic talking about how he would love to come to the MLS, to Chivas signing their first U.S. men's national player to their team. But we want to focus in on our Nashville boys right here. Actually, I wouldn't say right here because now they've flown off to Florida. We're already starting our preseason, everybody. Tony, lead us in with the preseason.
Oh man, so your boy Gary has had a lot of interesting things to say about the Nashville, you know, about what we're gonna do next year and what we're hoping to accomplish in is it Florida? Is it Winter Park? Is it no,
Florida?
We're in all parts of Florida. We're in the Port St. Lucie and we're in the
West Palm Beach.
What the most interesting thing to me about this preseason schedule is we're playing St. Louis City, who were not playing at all in the actual regular season, which I thought was a shame. I was like, dude, I really, Did you just
home
say
and away? I would love to go there. I think it'd be fun to actually travel to there for this year because they traveled to us last year.
Come on, man! You don't want to go and see? You don't want to go to the St. Louis's gym?
I would love to go to St. Louis, but I'm talking about preseason. I mean, meh.
No, well, I don't care. Here's the thing. Y'all want to talk about preseason. I don't want to talk about preseason. Look, we're playing. This is all I want to say about preseason. I'm gonna turn it on to y'all. We're playing St. Louis. We're playing SKC. We're playing Toronto. Then we're going to play 2 USL teams, right? Is Memphis 901 still in the USL?
They're USL Championship. They're actually the highest level of USL now.
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
Hey, that's a big deal. They're actually supposedly getting a giant sports complex built specifically for Memphis 901 FC and training.
Good for them to keep playing mid-level soccer in the USL. Memphis. I have no love for Memphis 901 if y'all can't tell.
And being from Memphis, I have a lot.
I know where you're from.
I've got the jersey.
I don't care. I don't care where you're from. Just tell me what you think about actually. Let me be more specific. Right.
Go ahead,
Logan. With this offseason, what is it that you expect Nashville to come out? Because remember, our first game coming out like in regular competition is going to be in the DR. So what are you looking to see that they work on in the offseason in the training camp? What are you trying to see? New players, new styles, new play styles, new tactics? What is it? What do you want?
So if you're paying attention to the Nashville SC socials at all, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're all over everything when it comes to this preseason right now. They've shown that Mackenzie Gaines is already down there with the team. He flew out from here with the team. Tyler Boyd met them down there. You've got Drew Yearwood already down there with them too. Those guys are starting out this year training with our guys. And I'm excited that our guys that we're bringing in are not just taking a minute before they get down there. They're actually jumping in right away, jumping in with our guys. I know that's expected, especially when you're jumping into a new team. But I love that they're immediately jumping in with guys down there. Lucas McNaughton and Drew Yearwood were seen on their Instagram kicking ball back and forth, kind of just volleying it back and forth, really trying to just get a feel for each other. I think that's important. So my biggest hope is not just that we find ourselves, but that we have our guys really create that community and trust for each other. Because if you can't play with that trust in each other in the game, it doesn't matter how good or how bad you are. If you can't play with that trust, you're not going to get the ball passing around as much, which we saw as a detriment to our play last year towards the end of the season. We were not passing nearly as much as we should have. You're not going to see goals being scored because you're not able to look ahead and see somebody that you know can get there. So I want them to build that cohesion, that trust, that family within that group, especially with these new guys joining in, finding their roles. I want to see that cohesion.
So Logan is over here looking for kumbaya moments. Austin, what do you think is going to happen?
See, I disagree. At the end of the season, we had plenty of passes. They just weren't to the right people. And we also saw the
our pass accuracy.
No, that's what I'm saying. So we saw the balls over the top, but they were just hoping that somebody would run out there. So yeah, you want trust in each other, but that comes with chemistry. And that's what I want to see built during this preseason. I want to see players actually get to know each other on a game level, not just I know what your favorite flavor ice cream. I don't care if they know that. I want to see them actually perform well together on the pitch. I want to see players knowing where the person is going to be before they go there. I want to see players actually running to the right spots. I want to see players clearing lanes, not running into the same lanes. I want to see players clearing lanes so that they can actually move the ball through the middle, like I've talked about almost every podcast recently. So, I don't want to see the same thing where we just run it up the side or throw a ball over the top and hope for the best. I want to see players actually moving the ball together in tight spaces. That's what they need to work on during this preseason, not just learning the set piece.
That comes with getting to know each other. That's why I'm saying I want them to find their place. I want them to get that cohesion, because if they can build that trust, those things can happen. If they can build that trust, they'll be able to see each other without looking.
Fine.
I think Logan's thinking this preseason is going to be like that camp and Remember the Titans when they all had to get to know each other.
I would love for them
if they work as hard as those guys in that movie. If they work as hard as those guys in that movie,
are you kidding me?
Field,
I would love for these guys to go into the camp and for Gary to have the motive to make them run to the graveyard or whatever, the Civil War graveyard, and for them to have like a come together moment where it's just like, look, there's a lot of people who have put in time and effort to see y'all be a successful team. All right,
left side.
Strong side.
Left side.
Strong side.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm trying to say.
What are you looking for during this preseason,
first
though, man?
and foremost, I think y'all are sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother, man. But I think y'all are saying the same exact thing.
We are.
You want to see them get comfortable together. I don't care about that. I'm paying them money, bro. I'm paying them good money to play ball. All right. Look, this is what I want to see. I need to see a more aggressive play style. I need to see them. I honestly switch up the formation. All right. Gary Ball is Gary Ball, but like, do we have to do it out of a 4-4-2 every time?
The diamond worked for us last year, but not necessarily in the 4-4-2.
Did it work?
Not necessarily in the 4-4-2.
I don't. Our record says differently. The end of the season says differently. The playoff game says differently. Did the diamond work for us, or do we just think the diamond worked for us? Because it feels good to say that. I don't think the diamond. Look, the diamond. It was a flash in the pan almost, man. I'm just like, dude, we had it for a second. At this point, a good manager, a good coach knows how to look at what his players do and adjust. I have not seen Gary adjust play style. Honestly, I have not seen him do that.
Yes, thank you.
So with that said, I mean, do you guys think that going into this preseason, going into this training camp, should the main focus be on really, I mean, yes, cohesion, yes, the players need to get chemistry, but do you guys, that doesn't happen over the course of 3 weeks. That happens over the course of a season. I think they need to figure out how to look at the way that they're playing, the shapes that they're playing in, and different little trick plays. You know what I mean? That they need to be looking at that type of stuff.
So that's actually a really good conversation segue, if you will, because Gary actually addressed a lot of that in an interview prior to them leaving on Monday. Gary had a interview prior to leaving for the preseason camp, his training camps. He talked about a couple different things, and there are two big things that really stuck out to me. He was talking about Hany's role in our offense, as well as our offense entirely, how it needs to change. And he also talked about, if we are still looking for players, it means we're getting rid of different players as well. So I want to address the first part of it with you guys, and I got questions for you both. Tunji, to start, do you think that the pieces that we've brought in help Hany, or do you think that Hany is a non-factor now that we've got a solid winger or two and a solid? I'm gonna
cut you off right there. I'm gonna cut you off right there because I don't appreciate the way you came in.
No, I'm just
Hany is a non-factor. What are you talking about?
I heard that too, Tunji. I heard that too.
Relax. Okay, like Hany is never a non-factor. We're talking about
blasphemy.
That is straight blasphemy, dude. Around these parts.
This is again a question. I'm not saying that.
And that's a blasphemous question for you to ask, bro. Like, some people will string you up by your toes for that type of question, man. Relax. Hany is always going to be a factor as long as he's repping the gold and blue. I believe that. Truly, I believe that last year was not good because he just didn't have any. He didn't have enough help, right? He didn't have any help, almost. Like, we could talk about Teal Bunbury and Fafa Picault and Shav. These guys weren't actually helping Hany Mukhtar. They didn't actually help him, all right? There was a lot of times where he just was like, he had the ball in front of goal and it was like triple covered and was trying to find guys and didn't, so he had to take bad shots. Now, if we can get Tyler Boyd open, if Tyler Boyd can get himself open, right, which I think he's proven that he can do in LA Galaxy. And then we also have the depth pieces to go along with some, like, the on the wings, like we have right now with Mackenzie Gaines.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget, we still got Schaffelberg.
We still have Schaff, who I think is still growing as a player. I think he's gonna. Well, I'm making conjectures here. What should happen this year is we should see Shaft become more comfortable in Gary's game. I was gonna say Gary's offense, but we all know Gary doesn't have offense. Yeah, dude, the plays that we've made, and I'm just gonna keep going back to it. It's the tactics, it's the game plan. With these new pieces, if you are going to be more aggressive, then yes, you should find success, but you just can't rely on always stuffing as many people in the backfield and not giving yourself a chance to make to convert chances. The chance to convert chances is what we're missing out on. And with these new guys, yeah, we should be a much more aggressive team. That's why we I assume that's why we picked them up. And as long as Gary doesn't Gary ball them, which is having them just forget about playing offense and just stay in the back, then Hany should find himself having a much better year than he had in 2023.
I agree. Austin, your thoughts on the pieces that we've gathered to put around Hany going into the year? What is it that you expect to see from the beginning with these guys?
I mean, the hope, right, is we added the pieces that are going to be shot creators, whether they're creating for themselves or creating for Hany. I mean, that's what the hope is.
You use the word hope there. What is it, because of the hope that we have and the things that we've seen out of these players, what are your expectations?
I expect them to do what we paid them to do, and which is to make this team better. I mean, that was why we signed them, right? The whole reason for going out and finding people, the whole reason for finding people and signing them and paying them the money we're paying is to make the team better. If they're not making Hany, who is our shot creator, he was our offense last year. It wasn't anyone else. It was Hany. It was Hany the past 2-3 years. Sam Surge, hopefully, we paid him to come in and be a goal scorer, right? If Sam Surge can't get the ball into the net, then why is he over here? Go back to the EPL. You can, suck with the Wolves again. I don't care. But that's what I'm saying.
With Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, he was with Nottingham Forest.
That's right. It was with Nottingham. Yeah.
It's okay. He's one of those lower tier EPL teams. We get it.
Jeez,
whatever.
Y'all are harsh, bro.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're asking what I expect people to do what we pay them for. And that's why we brought these players in. If Mackenzie Gaines comes in and has that speed on the outside like we expect, if Tyler Boyd comes in, has that speed and that creating, because he is a shot creator, whether he's creating for himself, whether he's having the assist, he should be setting people up. And that's why we pay him. That's what we brought him in for. I mean, that's what agreed. I expect.
So with that being the case, Gary also mentioned they're still looking. They're always going to be looking for players to improve our offense, for players to improve our defense, for players to improve our midfield. But with that, if we're looking at other players, which there are others that are still out there and available, there are others that we can take on loan, that we can trade for, because we still have plenty of time. We haven't even started preseason yet, really. So with that, if we do bring in other players, who are your switches going to be? Who are you getting rid of?
Stop. We're not even going to go into that. No, we're not going to play that game. That's the game that Gary wants you to play in the offseason. What does Doug call it? What does our producer call it? The silly season? This is silly Gary games that he's playing. He's over here like, well, you guys keep asking for new players, and if we get new players, we have to let someone go. I'm not playing that game, Gary. I'm not doing that. I'm asking for you to win. I'm asking for you to continue winning. And what he's trying to say, he's trying to predicate us winning this next season, right? Based off of who we have on the field. Look, all of these guys matters. It does matter a lot. And last year we did not have a lot of people who could create.
We didn't have the right pieces.
We have made moves, and he's being one.
Well, Tunji, you said yourself let me in finish. The last few podcasts we weren't done looking.
Audience, guys, viewers, everyone listening, what you need to know about me is I was born in the UK, all right? I was born in Greenwich Village, all right? And one thing you should know about British people is spite and sarcasm it's one of the first things that we learn. All right. In kindergarten, in pre-K, that's the first things we learn.
For most of them, it's their love language.
It's a love language, honestly. I speak Gary well. What he was trying to say to y'all when he said, well, if we've got the pieces that we need, but if we're always looking, but if we were to sign someone new, then we blah, 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 blah. Look, all he was trying to say in his British way was, you guys keep complaining about X, Y, and Z, but you don't want me to make any major changes. You don't want me to let go of the people that, if I were to let go of certain people, right, to sign bigger people, you would
right
complain.
Now I know I want to let go of.
We're not entertaining that conversation because I already know it begins with Alex and it rhymes with Smule.
That's not the only person. There are others that are in our lineup.
So who would you let go of then? All right, let's go down. You're already succumbed to Gary.
This is why I asked.
You're already singing that song.
Austin,
tell me who would you let go of to sign someone new. You don't even know who you would sign, but you're ready to let go of somebody.
No, there are two people. Austin, you've brought him up several times. Acosta. I would bring in Acosta 100%.
Acosta.
So you let go. You let go of Alex Mule, and then you sign Kellen Acosta just like that. Easy.
Nope.
One and done.
There's somebody else I get rid of, and it has nothing to do. It's all business. It has nothing to do with anybody personal because I love this player, Hannibal Godoy.
Oof. I feel that. I honestly feel that. No,
I'm
with
him.
It. Oh, he got me.
Think about it.
I'm like,
Acosta,
if you can get him, get Hannibal Godoy and Alex Moyle just to bring in Acosta, yes.
I don't know if those two players' salaries add up to one Kellen Acosta, but if they did, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'm with this man on that one.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm with him on that one.
So we do have to let go of somebody. And I think that it is.
Would you get rid of Leon in that package?
Stop! You're still falling for Gary Lingo.
I'm not talking about Gary Lingo
right now.
This is a conversation.
Do you think that we need to let go of somebody?
Because the salary cap.
But Tunji, this is a conversation.
Salary cap makes me think that we've already.
We had this conversation last week. Are we there yet?
We've had the conversation last week. Are we there yet? We had the conversation when it came to contracts, who we want to keep, who we don't. We've had these conversations, and I've not said anything negative about Hannibal Godoy in his person. I've not said anything negative
to his face because you'd be too scared.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying anything. Look, they can. If you are a player on Nashville SC, none of what I say is against you personally.
They ain't listening, bro. What are you doing?
Hey, they aren't. But if they do, if they end up seeing this, because we post it to our socials, I know at least one player that follows me on one of my socials. So I will say this. If you see this and you are a player for Nashville SC, none of what I say is anything against you personally. Everything I say has to do with the business of getting our team to play better. And Tunji, you know this, and Austin, you know this. If you're one of the ones who wants to get rid of this, if you're one of our listeners who has listened to us several times over, you know this. Everything I have to say when it comes to our team, I speak objectively as I possibly can. That's my whole role.
Yeah,
that's the way that I think.
You try. You do your best. You do your best job at it.
Tell me, Acosta for Hannibal Godoy. Trade for trade. If salary wasn't an option, you would make that trade in a heartbeat.
100%.
Anybody would make that trade in a heartbeat.
Anybody would. Yes.
Anybody would.
So
look, I'm just gonna have to
bring somebody else in who is gonna fill the void that we need. Who's gonna put that thing in place? That's where it is. So agree or disagree?
Agree to disagree.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna agree to disagree in the way that you phrase this argument.
These are the things that
the end result was great, but the lead up to it was all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. These are the things that Gary talked about in his pre-match interview or in his preseason interview prior to heading down to camp with the players. So these are things that I think are important for us to bring up. These are the things that we need to talk about. If our coach is talking about them, I think it's important for us to talk about them. Speaking of new things
you fell for the Kool-Aid, bro. You're sipping the Gary Kool-Aid.
Y'all know my thoughts on Gary
chugging
too.
it right now.
Y'all know my thoughts on Gary too.
Let me step in,
man.
Let me step in. We got Shannon Sharp and Stephen A over here, and I don't know what's going on. So we're moving on, though. We're gonna agree to disagree. We've got a next segment that we're excited about. We've got some rule changes that have happened in the MLS, and we're gonna talk about it right after this. All right, we are back, and we're going to be talking about some rule changes, guys. MLS has implemented some new rules. A couple of them that we're going to be talking about are some. I feel like the MLS is trying to get rid of some time wasting, which a lot of complaints happen. But I feel like it's something that's been part of the game. So let's get into it. The first rule they're calling off-field treatment rule. The off-field treatment rule allows medical professionals with time to assess and treat players off the field in a less pressurized environment. So basically, it boils down to if a player is on the field or on the ground, rather, for longer than 15 seconds, the ref is going to blow the whistle, call the play, bring in the medical officials to assess the player, and then hopefully get them off the field as quickly as possible to treat. So all of the times where you see him spraying the cold spray on, doing all of the cramp stretches, all of that, they're going to try to get them off the field for that. And if that ends up happening, the player has to stay off the pitch for 2 minutes until the ref waves them back on. And I think it says, let me double check this. Yeah, it's for further assessment and treatment, and then has to wait for a break in the match. So like has to wait for a stoppage of play. So Tunji, I know you got some thoughts on this one. You got some thoughts on some other ones. All of this changing. So what are your thoughts on this specific one?
It's a waste of time. It's literally the time-saving
A waste
rule
of time?
is a waste of time. It is. It just is, man. Like I'm telling you right now, dude. These first and foremost, let's look at the rule, right? Like, all right, the down for 15 seconds, right? The referee has to call the game.
Well, they have to call the medical staff onto the field.
After 15 seconds?
Yeah, but they pause. Yes, that's supposedly what it says.
When
now,
after 15 seconds?
Well,
at 15 seconds? At 15.5 seconds? At 17 seconds? When? There's no change here. There's people who are just going to go down and stay
if it's 15 seconds or more. I'm hoping, now I don't know this, it doesn't say it in the rule. I'm hoping the fourth ref off the pitch is going to radio in and say, hey, he's down.
I think the biggest thing this is going to do is cause you to play a man down for a couple of minutes.
I mean, that's the hope, right? Because I mean,
that's regular. That's regular, dude. I mean, okay, once they have to leave the pitch, I'm not focused on when they have to leave the pitch. I think that them getting off the pitch is great, right? That's actually a good part of this rule.
Yeah.
But my problem is, when do they call
when the ref actually blows
when do they actually call the game? They're not being clear about that. So to me, it's like, what is the difference? What is the actual difference?
Well, I'll tell you the difference. What it is we've seen this in so many matches. A player goes down, right? Before the medical staff ever comes on the field, they are down. Their players, their teammates are trying to do the stretches, are trying to do that. That's not going to happen anymore. If you're down and supposedly need medical treatment, the medical staff immediately comes on, and then it rushes to they have to be treated off the field as long as it's safe to move them. Now, there are some exceptions. Obviously, head injuries, you don't want to move a player who has a concussion. Their goalkeepers injuries, which I think goalkeepers are now going to be the biggest time wasters because of that. Goalkeeper injuries are an exception. Also, fouls that resulted in a yellow or a red card are exceptions to the rule as well. So, Logan, your thoughts on this new rule?
I mean, honestly, I like this rule. I really do. I like this rule. In fact, I think it's going to be worth moving somebody off because that means they have to stay off a minimum of 2 minutes. The ref is the one that decides when they come back on. They have to stay off a minimum of 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes of attacking. That's 2 minutes of playing a man down that gives the advantage. And honestly, on the Nashville side of things, I don't see many of our players go down that often. In fact, it happens a lot more against us than it does for or on our side. So I think it's going to cut down on the time wasting against us. And if it does happen against us, that just gives us more opportunity. So I see that this is an easy win when it comes to our team. I think it is a positive thing for us. In fact, I love this. I really do. I love this.
Oh man, the man with the hearts, the man with the hearts.
All the hearts.
The second rule, still having to do with time wasting, is the timed substitution rule. When a substitution happens, the substituted player must exit the field within 10 seconds. Failure to exit from any point on the field, because remember, guys, if you get subbed out, you don't have to walk all the way over to the bench. You can exit any point on the field. You can walk off the side. Failure to exit the field within 10 seconds will cause the incoming player to wait for a 60-second holding period before entering to the next stoppage. So again, there is basically an advantage given to the team that was wronged, was affected by the time wasting, whatever you want to call it. I would kick it back over to Tunji and then back over to Logan. So Tunji, what are your thoughts on this rule, the time wasting with the 10 seconds?
My man's dude. Like you guys keep thinking that MLS has power over a problem that has plagued the game for decades, for a century almost. It's not effective, dude.
You don't think it's going to happen?
It's not.
Logan, what are your thoughts?
Well, the MLS said on their website when it comes to this rule that MLS Next Pro, their lower league, put this in place last year, and 99.7% of all substitutions at that level, after this was put in place, over 3,200 substitutions were done within 10 seconds or less.
Okay,
so
that's MLS Next Pro.
It
right?
skips that time wasting.
Why did they not give us the MLS stats?
Because they didn't include
this is the first year they're implementing it. It's just like the shot
they're implementing the rule.
So you telling me with all the technology they have, they can't see how often people are.
Oh, I'm sure they could see
the
it,
pitch?
and that's why they put this in place.
Then why do I not have those numbers? Why do I have the MLS Next Pro numbers, but I don't have? There's no reason why I should have MLS Next Pro where there are less cameras on the pitch.
No, they're saying
MLS.
this is what they put in place last year in MLS Next Pro, and this is the result.
This is
putting this rule
implementation.
So you guys are not getting where I'm going. You guys are not here. You're not.
No, you're asking. You're asking what
I'm asking for statistical relevance. That's what I'm asking for. Gotcha. They gave me the statistical relevance for the MLS.
What is the average sub?
Yeah. Why do I not have that?
What an average sub is. So they would give you the statistical evidence of the MLS Next Pro after this was implemented, not before. It was after it was implemented that 97.7% was less than 10 seconds. It was after they put this in place. Now we don't have that in the MLS because we don't have it. Think of it like the pitch clock. It was implemented in the
baseball.
In AAA, like the minor leagues, and then they brought it into the MLB. That we had all the statistics in the minors because it was implemented first. That was the reason for it being brought in. It's the same basic concept. We saw that it worked in the MLS Next Pro. That's why they're bringing it in to hopefully cut off, because what we've seen is a player gets subbed out, right? He's going to go and high five. He's going to go give hugs to all of his fellow players. He's going to take his time walking all over to the bench. And then when he walks to the bench, give a hug and a high five, or give one final little tap and grasp before leaving the field, a point to the sky, whatever it is that he can take an extra half second off the clock. And that won't be happening because it will have to occur.
So you're saying that because there was no punishment for leaving the pitch early. For leaving the pitch within 10 seconds. That they're on average leaving way longer than 10 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
And
then they implemented that in MLS Next Pro.
There were several times that I saw people taking 20 to 30
hold
seconds.
On, I'm trying to work this out, man.
Yeah,
you're saying that like because they implemented this recently in the MLS Next Pro, now they know they're like, oh well, darn near 99.7% of people are leaving within this time frame. So it's not that hard of an ask. We just have to ask it.
Correct. And you have to penalize if they don't.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. You know, I think it is a nice thing because, like I said, that's the worst thing as a fan. Which, unfortunately, Nashville was on the wrong end of being down late in the game, and the other team was taking their sweet time getting subbed off. You know,
but there were several times. There were several times we saw 20, 30-second subs. 40-second subs, and that was just. I mean, it was unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. And
2 minutes for a sub is unnecessary, and that happened in one of our matches I know last year.
Yeah. Well, a couple other rules that we see in stadium. Now, this is pending International Football Association board approval, but the VAR decisions will now be announced by the referee. So similar to what you see in the NFL or college football, where once a play goes to video review. Yeah, NBA. Once a play goes to video review, the ref announces to the fans and to the viewers at home what the decision was, why, a full explanation. Before this, all you saw was either point to the goal or waving off a goal, get up or bring the ball out, whatever. It was just a simple motion, but there was no explanation to the reason for the decision. Logan, good or bad? Do we like this? Hate it? Insignificant?
I think it's going to help those who do not understand soccer. And that's only going to help to grow the MLS fan base. We already know that it's the fastest growing fan base in the United States as of right now, partly because Messi is now here, partly because it's a newer league than most of our others. It's only been around since 1996 as far as Major League Soccer. So we know that it is faster growing than others because it is newer. But at the same time, this is going to help those who don't fully understand the rules to understand the rules in real time. So it's going to help bring people back, I think. I think it's going to help to quell some of those boos and hisses and yelling at refs. Not that.
So basically,
that's all part of the game, and I
bring...
enjoy that part. I do it often as well. But I think it's going to help for us to understand and realize what's actually going on.
Yeah. Basically, you're just saying it's going to bring more clarity.
Yeah. I mean,
especially for people who don't know the rules. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you see it.
Talk about the in-stadium VAR announcements.
VAR announcement, yeah.
Look at the Leagues Cup last year. Tunji, you were up on Kappa with me during the Copa America game. During the Club America game.
Oh gosh,
I was gonna say that we did not play in Copa America, but Club America.
Club America.
That would have been
the Club America
great.
Game.
That would have been great to have during Club America.
But do y'all remember? In the penalty kicks, we thought it was over. People were running on the pitch.
Yep.
This, that, and the other. Chaos was happening for 7 minutes.
It's like 10 minutes.
But the ref,
7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes of just like this is it. We're done.
The game is over.
The game is over.
I think it was officially like 11 or 12 minutes. It was something like that. It was
before the game got started.
Before the game restarted. Again. But the whole time was the ref was actually over at the VAR, and I saw that after all this. And I went back and rewatched it, and I saw him sitting there. He got called over within 30 or 40 seconds.
No announcement.
He sat there the whole time looking at the VAR while everyone else was celebrating, while their team was celebrating.
Fine. But how insane is it? Let's just take that example, right?
Yeah.
How insane is it that we sat there for that long not knowing what was going on? Now they have to make a rule, be like, hey,
now they're going to announce
if you're reviewing the VAR,
hold on.
This is common sense, people. Like that shouldn't even be a rule.
This is normal within.
That's what makes people think that we're las ratas. All right, you know what they call us in South America? You know what they call us in Mexico? Las ratas, because they think we stole that game. They think we're rats. if you
But
don't speak
that's why
Spanish,
this
I
is
speak
important.
Spanish.
I think this is important for us to have in
So
place.
good rule change. I think
It's
we all
good.
agree on
It's
that.
good, but
Yeah.
it's
It's a great rule
common
change.
sense, dude. If the
Yes.
ref is sitting there looking at a VAR decision, going over it, it should be announced in stadium at the very least. At the very least,
Exactly.
for people in stadium to understand what's going on.
Exactly. Well, let me bring up this last rule change. I'm dubbing it the Miami rule, and I'll tell you why here in a second. It is
Okay.
called the residency deadline. Now, I'm going to read this whole rule. It's short, but it
Okay.
says for a player to be considered a domestic player in the applicable season, residency must be established, or the player has to have appeared for an immigrant visa interview by the opening of the secondary transfer window, not the initial one, the secondary one. Now, let me just do a quick explanation why this is important to those who might not know soccer as well. Yep. So basically, we have international spots in the MLS. You can only have so many players who are not residents in America or have working visas, green cards in America. Now, that's important to teams who have used or are using most or all of their international spots. Miami.
Okay.
Now, this helps establish somebody as a resident just by interviewing.
Now, there's
for
still an application
an
process and
visa.
everything to get to that point.
All they have to do is interview, though. They don't even have to be
They still
have a visa.
go through those processes before getting to the interview. So there are still setbacks to that.
Now, if somebody applies for a visa, are they considered a working person until they receive the visa? Said visa.
Look.
No, anywhere else.
Okay.
But because they have an interview, they're considered a domestic player.
Okay.
Benji, what
All
do you
right. You're over here. You're coming from the South Park. They took our job standpoint. All right.
No,
I get you.
I'm not
I feel you. Hey, I feel you. I feel you. Right. But this is the break that all of the MLS stands, all of the Euro snobs, everyone who has lost their minds over salary cap and GAM and TAM restrictions.
Yeah.
This is the break they've been looking for, dude. This is it right here. This is the loophole. This is the biggest thing that we're talking about. Like, honestly, look, if you're just tuning in for right here, don't even worry about the last 50 minutes. This is the most important thing. MLS just blew the gate wide open. They said they just have to interview and you can bring them in. So now what we're talking about,
player, you can bring
as a domestic player, what does that mean, right?
I mean, it's more international spots. It means more that you could.
No, it doesn't mean more
officially pay
international spots. It means more people who have the intention of becoming a domestic player in the MLS. Like they just blew the gate wide open for a lot more Inter Miami sneakery, a lot more trickery, but at the same time, it's not just Inter Miami who's going to benefit from this. It's everyone who knows how to play the game.
Yep.
You gotta play. This is a game.
New York
you
Rebels are going to do it because of their ties with the other Rebels teams. You're going to have LA Galaxy,
NYCFC
do it.
linked to Citigroup.
NYCFC doing
Citigroup is going to abuse this rule. They're going to abuse this rule.
Seattle being Soccer USA, like their area, they're gonna Seattle, excuse me, St. Louis.
Who is Soccer USA?
St. Louis calls themselves Soccer USA, even though a lot of people say that Kansas City is it. St. Louis calls themselves Soccer USA, and I think that they're going to benefit from it because they have a lot of big soccer ties.
Y'all are saying a lot of team names. What name are y'all not saying who's going to benefit from it?
The thing is Nashville's not spending money. Nashville's not spending money for it.
We're not the type to bring in people from overseas that, man. Not a free pass, bro. We don't give a free pass.
You're talking about this is what everyone has been wanting. Everyone has been wanting for us to get rid of the restrictions, not find a loophole. I hate that you have to find a loophole. I want none of the restrictions. Just be able to pay players if you want to pay players and sign players if you want to sign players. I don't care where they're from. But having to have a loophole is not what we've wanted.
I hear you. No, I hear you. 2 words. Baby steps.
It is baby steps, and that's true. This is a. I think this is.
That's why the MLS is never going to be a top tier league when you have to constantly take baby steps to get on the next level.
This is a step in the right direction. I agree with Tunji on that. It's a step in the right direction. It's not the end result that everyone wants, and I don't think it is the end result even within this. I think it is a step towards the right direction. I think it is going to bring more money into the MLS in general, because you're going to bring bigger stars here.
Salary cap didn't change.
It will. Salary cap is 100% going to change with this rule, because they'll be able to domesticate players quicker. Officially domesticate players quicker.
Does that mean we have feral players?
I mean, there are some that play pretty feral. We don't have Draymond Green in the league yet, but but you will have guys that'll be able to domesticate quicker. You'll have bigger names come through. It is not the end all be all, but it will bring more to the MLS. I mean, we talked about it last week. The Open Cup, payout was 20 times less than the Pop-Tart Bowl for the college football Pop-Tart Bowl. We need that kind of payout for our U.S. Open Cup alone, just to bring more money into the league in general, so that we can actually do something with it, so that we can make it a top tier league.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this all turns out. What teams take advantage of it. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Comment on our YouTubes, on our socials, wherever you see this. But we're going to go ahead and wrap another episode of Mixtape 615. So big love to all of you listeners. We could not do it without you guys. A special shout out to our producer, Doug Branson. Yep. That guy, the real MVP, making this all happen for us. So thank you,
13
Doug.
episodes, and don't man. Forget, 13 episodes. He stuck with us for 13 episodes. Shout out to Doug.
There we go. Well, don't forget to stay connected with us. Hit us up at mixtape615.com and on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, X, and all of that stuff. You can find us at Mixtape615. And for all of our video content, you know where to find us, youtube.com/Mixtape615pod. You can also search for us, Mixtape615pod. That's POD. So keep it real, keep it vibing. Until the next episode, guys, that is Mixtape615 signing off.